Hello there, very good evening to you. It's Monday night, it's 7 o'clock, and this is M7, My Mind Matters. My name is Paul Becque from engagewithsuccess.com, and tonight I'm going to spend around 55 minutes with you talking about breath work. And if you're going, what on earth is that? Stay tuned, you'll find out. And then we'll talk about mindfulness, and then we take our deepest dive, which is meditation. And the whole point of all of this is to help us get control of our mind. How many times today have you been stressed out? How many times today have you been panicked about something that may or may not even happen? How many times have you got yourself all wound up and worked up about an event that you're thinking, I've got to get done, I've got to get it done, I've got to get it done, and actually didn't even need to? It happens all the time. How many times has tiny little thing happened, and you made it into a big deal? And this is simply your mind running away with you. Now, I want you to bear in mind that that does not make you unusual. That is pretty typical of the average human being. In fact, it's said that there's a ratio of 3 negative to 1 positive thing. So, or actually, I got that the wrong way around. You need to do 3 positive things to equal 1 negative thing. That's the right way around. And the reason for that is that the brain is designed to keep us safe, to protect us. And so it constantly is looking for the negative. And that's why we tend to think more negatively. And again, if you think that's you, that is pretty typical of most people. We're looking for the problems so that we can avoid them. And so it's really important that what we are able to do is be positive, be positive, be positive. And that will work in your relationships. That can work for productivity. Let's talk about relationships just for a moment. So, for example, if you fall out with somebody, you upset somebody, then you may need to do 3 things to balance the books, 3 positive things to make them feel comfortable with you again. So if you've done a couple of negative things in a row, then it becomes more and more important that you get those positive things going quickly. So just try to bear in mind that particular ratio, 3 good things to every 1 bad thing. And that seems kind of unfair. And yeah, it'd be nicer if it was 2 for 2, 1 for 1, but it isn't. And that's really because the way the mind is stacked up. You could argue it's against us. It's not really, it's to protect us. It's to ensure that we know what's going on. But once we know that idea, once we understand that system, then we can make it work for us. So I want you to bear that in mind throughout tonight. Now, for those of you that are new to My Mind Matters, 3 areas that we work on. We're going to start with breath work. That it really is just breathing. And if you think, oh, I do that anyway, you do, but you do it unconsciously. You just breathe, right? And you probably have no idea if you take deep breaths or shallow breaths, if you breathe rapidly, if you breathe slowly. But we will do conscious breathing tonight. And the beauty of this is it can really help you to get control of your body, of your thoughts, and most importantly, your emotions, which then in turn can change your behaviors. So it's very easy for us to get very wound up. It's very easy for us to get caught up in something that might be happening, and that can make us very angry. That can make us get annoyed quickly and easily, and then everything runs away. What we want to do is ensure that we've got the ability to come back and control things to keep us in a better place. Now, I promise you, absolutely promise you, no matter how good you get at this, things will go wrong. It's human nature. It's just the way we are. However, with practice, you can start to use these tools so you become better and better and better at gaining your balance much, much faster. That's really what this is all about. And practice is what they call breath work. Practice is what mindfulness is called. Meditation is called a practice. There's a very good reason for it. We need to practice. We need to practice every day if possible. Now, if this is all new to you, maybe you will start off once a week. Maybe Mondays at 7, you'll join us and you'll get better and better and better at this and you'll start to enjoy this. But ideally, you'll start to do it every day. And in fact, even beyond that, at some point, you might get to do it 3 or 4 times a day. Or if you can feel that you're on edge, if you can feel that something's not right, if you can feel the emotions coming through and you're about to erupt, then you've got the opportunity to consider these tools. Now, the one I'm going to focus on tonight is called STOP, STOP. That's an acronym. And I'll share that with you throughout all three of the tasks, the skills that we're going to be working on. So we can use it for breath work, we can use it for mindfulness, and we can use it in meditation as well. Now, from my experience, this 55 minutes, I try to keep it under an hour, because if it goes over the hour, some platforms don't allow live to be published. So I have to keep it under the hour. I will come back to this time and time again and give you the opportunity to remember it. If you have got a pen or a piece of paper around, maybe you want to write this down. And don't forget, this will go onto YouTube. This will go onto my podcast. So you'll be able to listen to this day in and day out if you want to. Or you can download a few of these podcasts and you can keep them on your phone. So that if you find yourself in a bad place, or you find yourself in a place where you're uncomfortable, or you know what's coming, then you've got the opportunity to play it on your phone. Yeah, I hope that's helpful. Okay, let's get comfortable for some breath work. So get comfy in your chair. Ideally, you've got a nice chair with a back to it and you can sit back and get comfortable. Then close your eyes. I almost said close your hands. Close your eyes, put your hands on the top of your legs. Get your feet nice and comfortable on the floor. You can be with shoes, with socks, without shoes. Without shoes and socks, it's entirely up to you. And then just start to breathe at your own leisure, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. I put some music on quietly in the background. If you do enjoy the music, by the way, and think, oh my goodness, I love that music, I want some of that, you can buy it. This is from Metaverse. Meta is METTA, Verse, VERSE. And they do sell these tracks. So if you're enjoying any of the music from week to week to week, I think I love that one. Metaverse is where I get these from. So breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, every week I tried to come up with something different that we can focus on, something new, a different aspect of mindfulness or breath work. Tonight I'm going to be focused on stop. So let's start with the acronym. The S is for stop. So it's going to be really, really easy to remember. So whatever you're doing, just pause momentarily. Now, you don't have to be getting angry. You don't have to be getting wound up. You don't have to be losing the plot to do this. If maybe you're looking for some creativity, if you're wondering how you could do something, if you'd like to remember a word or a name, if you just like to get in touch with your inner self, a deeper feeling of connection, then stop at any time of day. It could be on a tea break. It could be on a lunch break. Maybe your work means that you just met somebody that's driving you crazy. When you get back to the car, just stop for a moment. And then the T is take a breath. And this is where you get the opportunity to reconnect with your breath. Use the breath as an anchor to be in the present moment. Because when we're in the present moment, generally everything's fine. We use our minds to wind ourselves up. We use our minds to think the worst. Things are getting crazy out there. What if? Now just take a breath. Focus on your breathing. So let's do that right now. Focus on our breathing. I'm going to give you counts. I'm going to start on 3, breathing in through the nose for 1, 2, 3. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, and let it out for 1, 2, 3. Nice deep breath in through the nose now for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, 4, and let it out for 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go for 5. In through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let it out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now continue breathing at your own pace. And the O in the stop model And I believe, if I remember rightly, this was brought to us by a gentleman called John Kabat-Zinn. It's easy to look up. Jon is for the John. Kabat is with a K, K-A-B-A-T. Zen is Z-I-N-N. And this is the gentleman that really helped bring mindfulness to the West. I believe he created this stop system. So we've stopped, we've paused momentarily, we're taking some deep breaths, we're reconnecting with ourselves, and the O is for observe. So now take a moment while you're still breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth at your own pace. Observe what's going on with you. What's happening? Why are you getting angry? Why are you getting upset? Why are you getting anxious? Why are you becoming overwhelmed? Why are you jealous? Why are you anxious? Why are you nervous? Why are you afraid? And here's where it gets really important. Most people focus on the outside, but I want you to focus on the inside. I want you to focus on what's going on inside you. So a few things we can do. Forget what thoughts you're having. Just take a moment to focus and observe. It's the O for observe. Observe the emotions in your body. Is that what lets you know you're angry? What triggered that? Now, probably you're thinking it was triggered by somebody else, but I want you to understand it's just your perception of what happened that makes you angry. It's your thoughts that send off your emotions. Once you can start to observe that and recognize that, it gives you the opportunity to begin to regulate that. Again, you're never going to be 100% of this. There will be some triggers that may even be unconscious, subconscious, that date back to many, many years ago, maybe even your childhood. And I bet there are examples you can think of right now where everything was great and suddenly you changed. Suddenly you had a fit of anger. You got really upset and you don't even know why. And these are what we call saboteurs. These are our inner critics coming through. These are memories. This is our past. And that's why it's so important to get back to the present moment. Let the past go. It's water under the bridge. There's no point in reliving things that happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and you're still living them today as if it happened today. See if you can let them go, release them. And then once you've been able to do that, and maybe you feel a little bit better, this is just from breath work, then take the opportunity to proceed. That's what the P is for, proceed. And you continue doing what you were doing. Again, that might be at work, that might be phone calls, that might be visiting customers, it could be watching TV, it could be eating dinner, and your partner has sent you off. Well, again, I don't want you to blame your partner. It's your triggers, it's your thought process, it's something inside you that set you off. And by following the stop system, you have the opportunity to self-regulate, to get yourself back on track. Now, sometimes this will happen very, very quickly. You'll be able to do it within a matter of seconds. Sometimes it's minutes. If it's something really uncomfortable, something that really hits at the heart of your values, your beliefs, and there's a good chance it could take you several hours, and unfortunately even days. And as I said just a moment ago, some people will be holding on to things that are 20, 30, 40 years old. Try to let those go. Okay, I'm going to bring the breath work to an end. Let's just do a couple more breaths before we open our eyes. Keep them closed. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let it out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now with your eyes still closed, really let it out. I want you to let it out with a Ah. Doesn't have to be a tune. It might just be an angry sound. Ah! But get it out, let it out, release it, whatever it may be. I don't know what frame of mind you're in today. You might be quite happy. You might just want to go, I'm so glad to be home. I'm so glad to be with my family. I'm so glad to be around my kids. I'm so glad to be sitting in the sun. I'm so glad to be sitting down for dinner. It doesn't have to be anxiety. And so if you are quite content, then take an opportunity to move into gratitude, take an opportunity to move into appreciation for all the good things you've got in your life. That's what these tools are about, notching our game that little bit better, that little bit higher, so we can be content more and more often. Okay, take one nice last deep breath in through the nose, hold on to it, and let it out through the mouth. Okay. Now, many times I talk about my engage system, and I tell you that all of these systems that I'm sharing with you fall into state of grace. So let me just run through that with you so you've got some idea of what I'm talking about. When I talk about the engage model, this is my own model, and ultimately for us to become the best version of ourselves, for us to enjoy more success, more fulfillment, then we need to follow this model. Now, there are many, many, many books out there that will tell you to do this, to do that, to work on your focus, to work on your attention, to work on your energy, to work on your goal setting. And all of these books are valid. I'm not knocking any of them. But what I've created is a holistic system. And that's a whole system, brought all of these ideas together so you can literally follow it step by step by step. And so the E is for evolve. If you've got a pen or a pencil, feel free to write this down. So the E is for evolve. Now, you might say, what does it mean, evolve? Evolve, ultimately, if you look up the word evolve, it means to change incrementally, slowly, slowly, slowly. For example, humans have evolved over time. Smartphones have evolved over time. Cars have evolved over time. And so things just become better and better and better and better. It's very unlikely you're going to read a book and change your life. It may change you, but it's not going to get you where you want to go. It may move you toward it, and that is evolution. Moving toward it, moving toward it, moving toward it, moving toward it. And from my experience, there's nobody out there that says, I'm perfect now. We're always growing. We're always changing. Change is a very important word. That's evolution in itself. And by growing and changing, we are evolving. And so there are 5 steps, 5 levels to that evolution. And the reason that I've created these is because I think it's very important to have a pathway. Somebody tells you you've got to evolve, well, what does that mean? And when people tell you that you've got to move up to the next level, for example, the next level is to always become more aware of ourselves, aware of our thoughts, aware of our behavior, aware of our emotions. Well, I've created a system which is 5 R's. And so the first one is self-repression. And I use repression as the term because ultimately repression is unconscious. Most people don't know that they're doing it. For a long time, I had the term restriction. We're holding ourselves back. And that would be true, but generally restriction would mean that we're doing it on purpose. And I don't believe anyone is holding themselves back on purpose. We're holding ourselves back because of limiting beliefs, because of mental barriers, things that don't allow us to push through. These could be fears or anxieties from childhood. It doesn't have to be from childhood, but generally these are subconscious. And so I prefer the term self-repression. Then we move into self, not awareness, because these are all going to be R's, but self-recognition. And we start to recognize our operating system. Once we can recognize it, once we can see our inner saboteurs, our inner critics, once we can see our inner coach, or sage as it's often called, once we can see these 2 sides of ourselves, the good and the bad, the good and the ugly, if you will, then you've got the opportunity to start changing. And I call that self-regulation. You start to regulate yourself. You start to have better thoughts, better emotions, and ultimately you act better, better behaviors. And then as we climb that ladder, we really get to an exciting part, a really exciting a part of the system. Because this first one is, well, not first one, the fourth level now is self-restoration. And you might think that's a little odd, but actually we're restoring ourselves. We're going back to what we were when we were born. And you think about it, when you watch children, they're so happy. They're playing, they're having a great time. They just want to do what works best for them. And they are really connected with themselves and who they are and what they want to become. And they'll sit and they'll draw and they'll sit and they'll play and they'll have a great time. They're quite happy to talk to people. And we need to get back to that, because what happens is we build up this layer after layer after layer after layer of things that come on top of us. And I remember being called many, many years ago. I was about 21, maybe just 20. I was called a diamond in the rough. So I had all these, but I had to be polished to use them well. And it's actually the opposite. What happens to human beings is we've got all these great skills. We're enjoying life. That's the best skill, right? We just want to be happy. And we get told, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, or you've got to do this, you've got to do that. So we start covering up our authentic self, our original self. And now we become what society makes us. We become what we start to believe, because we were told by our parents, we were told by teachers, we were told by friends, we saw a TV show, we read a book. And so we actually get all this clutter on top of us, and we become the diamond in the rough, because you can't see the beautiful shininess that's inside. And so by restoring ourselves, we polish ourselves, we clear, we release, we get rid of all of the things that are holding us back. We allow them to disappear, dissipate, evaporate, if you will. And then we restore ourselves. And then finally, the big one, the best one, the one that we're all heading for, is self-realization. And that's the top level. It's almost like a pyramid. So a vast majority of people are down here in that self-repression. And then more people are up here, especially in today's society. More and more people now becoming more aware, starting to recognize the way they think, starting to understand that your thoughts really do start to create your reality. And then even fewer people are self-regulating. They may be trying, they might be doing breath work, might be doing mindfulness, might be doing meditation. But are they practicing it regularly? Is it becoming an integral part of their lives? Less and less and less people will be there. And then less people. And then finally, when you get to the very top, very few people will get to self-realization. So that's the E for engage. I could probably do a whole session on the, in fact, why don't I do this? Over the coming weeks, I will dedicate the time to explaining the entire system. So if you tune in Monday after Monday after Monday, you'll already got a good understanding what E is for evolve. N is for nirvana. I'm going to keep this very short because I don't want to lose too much time of practicing mindfulness and then meditation. So N is for nirvana. And ultimately that means, what do you want? What is heaven on earth for you? And that is your vision. You decide what would be the dream life for you. Because most people are very, what's the word? I'm looking for, generalized. They could give me some idea. Oh, I want to be rich. Oh, I want to have a big house. Oh, I want to have a nice car. But what sort of house and why? What sort of car and why? What sort of money and why? Are you talking you'd be happy to make 100,000 a year or $250,000 a year? Or are you thinking, no, I need 10 million a year? And why? Because what do you expect it to bring you? So it's really important to work on that. When I'm coaching people, I really make them drill down to understand what their nirvana is and why it's important to them. Then we move on to our next session, and our next letter, which is a G. And the G, well, my phone's ringing, is for grace. And that's for state of grace. And this is really what today's work is all about, trying to keep ourselves in a really good place, clear focus, clear intentions, knowing what we're going for, and most importantly, feeling fulfilled at all times. I take a very, very deep dive on what that means. There's a couple more acronyms built into that particular system, but it helps people have complete and utter clarity on what it is that they would like in their lives. Then we move on to A, and A is for action. And ultimately, I show you a system where you have an action plan and action steps. And most importantly, satisfaction. There's an action in there as well. Satisfaction is very, very, very important. Then we move on to, that was A for action. Then we move on to G for grit. So when it seems like things aren't going the way you might want them to go, you might want to dig down and get your heels in. But actually, I would say that's the wrong way to do it. What you do want to remember is how all of this system works. And you want to get back to your intentions. You want to get back to being who you want to be. Not digging down deeper, not fighting even harder, but actually relaxing and remembering how all of this works. Grit is very, very important. And then finally, the last D is for education. And it's really important that we have continued education. Even myself right now, I'm on another course. I'm studying right now. It is an amazing course. I'm really, really enjoying it. But the fact is, you're constantly learning. And if you stop learning, well, then you can't evolve. And that's really important because it lets you know that this all goes around in a full circle. So you evolve. That gives you a chance to improve what you're doing. And then when you get all the way around and come back to education, that additional information now gives you the opportunity to go around again. But this time your circle's getting wider and wider and wider, and you're going up and up and up. So I like to call that the vortex. Things are just improving all the time. Now, this isn't a quick fix. This isn't something you can just do in a weekend and be done, or certainly not in a day or an hour, and even a half-day workshop and be done. This is something you can learn fairly quickly, but the key is to practice. So I hope you found that useful. I hope you found that insightful. If you'd like to know more, feel free to reach out. info@engagewithsuccess.com. Okay, I want to move on to mindfulness. By the way, if whoever was calling is watching N7, thank you for calling, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'll find out afterwards who that was. Okay, let's go on to mindfulness, and we're going to use the stop system in here too. Close your eyes, get comfortable in your chair. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Hold on to it for a moment and let it out through your mouth. In through your nose. Hold on to it for a moment and out through your mouth. Okay, now we're going to do the mindfulness meditation, and this one's called the body scan. I've done this several times over the weeks, and it gets something you can practice, and you should become better and better and better at it. For those of you that are maybe on your second, third, fourth, fifth, or even more M7s, you should be becoming better and better at this and finding it easier and easier to do. So I want you to imagine a ball about the size of a tennis ball, 4, 5, 6 inches in front of you, and that little ball is a miniature sunshine. It's just in front of your eyes, 4, 5, 6 inches away, and it's rotating round and round and round and round. And now I want you to feel the heat coming off of that sunshine, just as if you were outside sunbathing, sitting in a deck chair, sitting in a chair, enjoying the sunshine. Feel the heat on your eyes. It should be very relaxing. Feel the heat on your eyes, as if the sun is really shining. Maybe you are lucky enough to be sat in the sun right now, and you can feel the heat on your face. Just focus on your eyes for a moment. Now I want you to imagine that white light, that white energy, or golden light, doesn't matter. You decide which it is. But imagine that start creating pools of light now above your eyes. So the wells of your eyes are filling up with this white light, this golden light, this energy. And as it builds up above the eyes, imagine it now going through the eyelids and massaging your entire eye. The left eye, the right eye, massaging them. If they're strained because you've been on a computer all day or you've had a long drive, just imagine them feeling a little more relaxed. Now take that energy up towards the bridge of the nose, up onto the forehead, and just imagine for a moment that warm light, that energy is massaging your forehead. If you need to, put your thumbs on your temples and use your 4 fingers to rub your forehead. Very relaxing. That feels so good. Now continue that journey. Bring that light now up to the top of your head, onto your scalp. And again, imagine that there's a masseuse just behind you and they're rubbing their fingers through your hair, and that feels so good. So relaxing, so enjoyable. Whoo! That's good. And this white light is loving and caring and relaxing, rejuvenating, re-energizing. It's helping you to feel really good about yourself. Don't forget to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Taking that light now across the back of the head. Just imagine those fingers massaging your head, massaging the skull. It feels great. Coming down the back of the neck now, towards the shoulders. If you need to, just lean your head to the left and to the right and release any tension that you might have. And as we bring the light down to the back of the neck, bring it into the shoulders, the left and the right shoulder. If they're feeling tense, just bring them up a little and drop them down again. Bringing them up and dropping them down. Or maybe you prefer to do little circular motions. Shoulders going round and round and round. There's no right or wrong. It's just about relaxing and releasing. And now we're going to take that energy down the right arm. So from the right shoulder, down over the upper part of the arm, over the biceps and triceps, down into the elbow. From the elbow now, going down the forearm, into the wrist. And for a moment, just focus on the wrist. Allow the energy to go round and round and round and round your wrist. You can see it in your mind's eye, but you can almost feel the heat around your wrist. And then finally bringing that light into the palm of the hand. And a beam of light comes shooting out of the thumb, index finger, middle finger, fourth finger and fifth finger. Now from the left shoulder, coming down over the upper part of the arm, over the biceps and triceps, into the elbow. If you've got any aches or pains in the arms, from rheumatism, arthritis, working too much, driving too hard, gaming too hard, whatever it may be, just allow the tension to release. From the elbow now into the forearm, into the wrist. Imagine the energy now, that light whizzing around your wrist, soothing, calming, relaxing, and now making its way into the palm of your left hand, and the energy comes zooming out of that left thumb, index finger, middle finger, wedding finger, and finally the little pinky, the little finger on your left hand. Now we take the energy down from the back of the neck, bring it around to the front of our body, to the torso, and now bring it down over your chest. And as well as being on the outside, imagine being inside. Imagine it coming down around the lungs. Feel the love. And of course, as we go past the lungs, think of the heart. That heart's such an important part of the body. Send a little love to the heart right now. Maybe you know it needs that love, that attention. And then continue down over the torso, over the belly, down towards the hips, and of course inside the kidneys, the livers, over the abdomen. over the diaphragm. And now take the energy around the hips, around the hips, around the hips. Now we're going to bring the energy down our back. So back to the back of the neck. And now imagine coming down vertebra by vertebra, bone by bone, almost like a ladder. Feel the energy, deliberate that energy coming down vertebra by vertebra. Relaxing, loving, calming. Feels good. And now, about halfway, as you're going around each vertebra as it makes its way down. Maybe you've got some back pains. Maybe you need a little stretch while you're here. Feel free to sit up and stretch that back. Maybe you've been in a chair far too long today. If you need to, keeping your eyes closed, try to just stretch yourself in that chair. Bear in mind, you can do this at any time that you're at work. If it gets stressful, you stop. Take a breath. You observe the body. In this case, we're observing the energy make its way around the body. And then we'll continue. We'll proceed at the end. So now we've brought it down vertebra by vertebra. Should be at the back of the spine, the end of the spine, the tail of your spine. Bring the energy around the hips once again. And now let's go into the buttocks. Let's go right buttock first and bring the energy forward into the right leg. The top part of the leg, those giant muscles, hamstrings heading down towards the knee. If your knees ache, you've got pains in the knees, allow that energy just to release it. So calming, so relaxing. And now bring that energy down the leg, shins, calves, into the ankle. Allow the light to go around that right ankle. Then bring it into the ball of the foot, the arch of the foot, the flat of the foot, and then bring the energy out through the big toe, the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Now your right foot has got 5 beams of light coming out of it. Let's go back to the left buttock and do the same on the left-hand side, bringing the energy down through the leg, over the hamstrings, the big muscles into the knee, releasing any tension, any stress in that knee, any aches or pains from that knee. Down over the calves, the shins, into the ankle, into the ball of the foot, the arch of the foot, the flat of the foot, and now coming out through the left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. And now the entire body is submerged in this beautiful, warm, loving light. Just bask in it for a moment. Just bask in that gorgeous, relaxing light. That energy is with you. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just think at any time of day, you may get the opportunity to stop. Maybe you work in the cubicle, maybe you have your own office, maybe you've got to go to the bathroom, maybe you need to go outside and sit on a bench. But you can stop the madness. You can stop the anxiety. You can stop the fear, the concerns, the worries. And that's really what this mindfulness practice is all about. It's got numerous benefits: improved attention, increased emotional regulation, reduced anxiety, even depression. And you could even have improved immune functions. There are so many. If this is all new to you, Google it afterwards. Find out what mindfulness can do for you. And it's a simple practice of stopping, taking a few deep breaths, that's your breath work, and then allowing, with this meditation that we're doing right now, the opportunity to observe what's going on in your body, and then proceeding. So let's take a moment right now that we're submerged in this light. Are there any aches or pains in your body that you'd like to focus on? If it isn't aches or pains, are there any emotions going on Does your mind keep going to something in particular? Are you angry about something? Are you nervous about something? Are you stressed about something or someone? Does your mind keep wandering? If it does, that's fine. Observe it and bring it back as soon as you can. I promise you, it's very, very normal for your mind to wander, and you have to bring it back. Your mind will wander, and you'll have to bring it back. Okay, I'm going to bring the mindfulness to an end right now. So very quickly, I'm going to do everything backwards, starting with our left foot, bringing in that beam of light into the little toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and then back in through the big toe, bringing it onto the flat of the foot, the arch of the foot, the ball of the foot, up into the left ankle. Bringing it up the left-hand side now, the shins, the calves into the knee, bringing it up over the big muscles at the top of the leg into our left buttock. Let's go back to the right foot, bring the light in now through the little pinky. Second, third, fourth toes into the big toe, bring it across the bottom of the foot, into the arch of the foot, the ball of the foot, up into the ankle, up through the lower part of the leg into the knee, and from the knee, bringing it back now to our right buttock. Now bring that light, that energy up from the buttocks to the waist area. Imagine the light rotating around your hips. Around it goes, a circle of light. Still helping you, still relaxing you, still healing you. And bringing it up now, vertebra by vertebra across the back. Up across the back, like climbing up a ladder. Feels good. Even though we're now returning back, taking that energy back to its little ball, it still feels good. The body's been re-energized, revitalized, refreshed. About halfway now, making our way up the back towards the neck. Now we're at the neck. Hold it there. Let's bring it up now across the front of the body, bringing that light up from the waist, up over the belly area. Maybe you're lucky enough to have a six-pack. Up it comes. And imagine working on the inside as well as the outside. Think about kidneys, livers. Think about the lungs. Think about your heart. Up over the chest area now. Up towards the neck. And now take that energy around to the back of the neck. Let's bring it in through the hands. Left hand, bringing the light in through the 5 fingers and thumb. Into the hand, into the wrist. Up through the forearm, back to the elbow. Through the upper arm. Into the shoulder. Same with the right hand now, bringing the light in through the fingers and thumb, into the palm, into the wrist, up through the forearm, up into the elbow, up through the arm, into the shoulder. Now the left and right shoulders enjoying that light. Bring it up through the back of the neck, up onto the scalp. Just enjoy it on the scalp for one moment. It still feels good. Bring it gently forward now. Onto the forehead. Imagine it massaging the forehead just for a moment. Feels so good. Down over the bridge of the nose until you got 2 pools of light over the eyes once again. And just imagine those little pools of light relaxing your eyes. Put a little smile on your face. I can't hear you. I can't see you. Don't be embarrassed. Smile away. And now allow that light to go back to the ball, just hovering, rotating in orbit, 4, 5, 6 inches in front of your eyes. And as that light goes back, you know that you can bring this ball of energy anytime you need it. Anytime you're feeling stressed, uncomfortable, out of alignment with yourself, stop. Take a breath. Observe your emotions, observe your feelings. Once you've got hold of those, and it can take seconds or minutes, then proceed. And now the little ball evaporates into the ether. And you're sat there with your eyes closed, feeling very calm and relaxed. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Hold on to it for a moment and let it out through the mouth. And when you're ready, open your eyes. How did that feel? Hopefully right now you're feeling pretty relaxed about yourself. Now, there are lots of ways to do mindfulness. We've already considered food, and you can be mindful when you are eating. And it's exactly the same system. Let's say you've got a meal in front of you, a plate in front of you, maybe going for dinner after this. Stop, rather than just eating and wolfing the food down. I'm terrible. I'm a wolfer. I wolf food down. I'm always on the go. Go, 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 go. So this is something I enjoy doing. You stop. Take a moment to take a deep breath and observe the food. Take a look at the food. Look at the colour of the peas, the beans, the potatoes, the Yorkshire puds, the beef, the pork, whatever it is that you're enjoying, the pie, the crust, and really pay attention to it. A lot of attention to it. That's just observing. But then what about observing or observing visually? But what about observing the fragrances? What does the food smell like? Can you smell the peas or the carrots? Can you smell the potatoes? Can you smell the beans? Can you smell the toast burning? Yeah, I don't know what you're eating. And it doesn't have to be dinner. Just using that as an example. It could be a bar of chocolate. But instead of just munching away at it and crunching away at it, let it melt slowly in the mouth. And then texture. When you put the food in your mouth, what does it feel like? What's the chocolate like as it melts? What are the peas like as you pop them or crunch them? Are the roast potatoes crunchy on the outside and then there's that gorgeous mashy texture on the inside? This is all mindfulness. You can do mindfulness with art. You can do mindfulness with music. I'd love to do it with music, but I know I'll have problems with copyright. And so when I do live sessions, I play some classical music and we imagine what's going on in the mind. Then I play some rock and roll. What's going on in the mind? Where does it take you? Play some jazz. All sorts of different music creates different images in our head. So it can take you back to a good place. It could take you back to a bad place. Depends what memories you've got. But it's all about slowing everything down and just taking a moment to really observe what comes through. And then we've talked about textures. That was feel. That could be the food in your mouth. We talked about the smell. We talked about the sight. What about hearing? Maybe whilst you're cooking, or maybe imagine a plate of fajitas coming out and it's sizzling away. So what sounds can you hear? Or maybe you're listening to the sounds when you eat, when you're crunching away at something. So all of these senses can be used to take a deeper dive on mindfulness. Okay, I'm going to move into the last part now, which is meditation. I'm going to do a very different one to the mindfulness meditation. So I'm going to get you to close your eyes. Again, get comfy in the chair. If you need to have a little wiggle, do that right now. I know we've been sat down for about 40 minutes, 45. Take a moment to get really, really comfortable. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And this time, let's just sit here and listen to the music. Let's just sit here and see if we can listen. Try not to think of anything. Just listen to the music. Where does this take you? Is it restful? Is it relaxing? Does it make you think of the stars, the moon, the sunshine? Can you imagine being in space, in your garden, lying in bed? What does this conjure up for you? Let your imagination run wild for a moment. Focus on your breathing. Feel the air coming in through your nostrils Is it cool? Is it warm? What's the temperature of that air? And then as it comes out, what's the temperature of that air? Is it cool going in and hot coming out? Again, there's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of paying attention, observing. That's what the O is for in the stop model. What are you feeling right now? And again, I want you to think inside, not outside. What's going on inside you? Have you got a feeling of contentment? Have you got a feeling of inner peace? Have you got a feeling of relaxation? If you have, then this must be worth doing on a regular basis. Take the opportunity to rest more, relax more, connect with your inner being more. And that's really what I mean when I say engage. We need to engage with our own success. We need to engage with our own fulfillment. If you're just running around doing things all day long, hey, if that makes you feel satisfied and happy, then that is great. But even if you are running around having a great time and you are feeling happy, just take a moment to reflect on that. Think about what a great day you've had. What a fantastic time you had. You maybe been for a run out on the bike. Just take a moment to drift off and feel relaxed. So when you come out the other side of this, you can proceed. So just for a moment, I want you to take the opportunity right now to imagine the love that's in the room that you're in. Wherever you are, in your home, in your bedroom, in the lounge, in the conservatory, perhaps you're even at work, in the office. I've had people write to me telling me they are. At the end of the day, most people have gone home. Just take a moment to think about all the love that's in that room. Feel that energy. Now spread that love, push that love out beyond the room you're in and send it around the home, the entire flat, the entire home. Think of the various rooms in your house and fill them with love. If there's somebody in that home right now that you're not particularly happy with, try to think about things you do like about them. It's easy to think about things we don't like. Take a moment, just think, well, there are some good qualities. I like it when. Now take that energy and spread it out beyond your home into your neighborhood. And imagine that love radiating beyond your neighborhood now to your entire village or town or city. Just radiate that love. Imagine your energy field pushing out, pushing out, pushing out, pushing out. And now beyond your village, town or city, go to your entire county or state. And just imagine it sending out waves, energy, vibrations beyond your county now to your entire country. That feels good. You're sending out so much love. The more love you send out, the more love's coming back to you. Pushing it out, pushing it out, pushing it out. Now let's go for the entire continent. What continent are you on? Imagine those other countries now enjoying your love. People of the globe, we're all human beings. We're all human beings. We're all doing our best. And now continue sending that out beyond your continent to the entire planet. Now embrace the entire planet with love. Hold on to it. Imagine you can stretch your arms around the entire earth and love it. Imagine your energy field now coming out from your chest, beyond your room, beyond your house, beyond your neighborhood, beyond your town or village or city, beyond your county, beyond your country, beyond your continent, enveloping the entire planet. Oh, that feels good. And now let's bring it back. Bringing that energy back now. Drawing it back in. Back to your continent. Back to your country. Drawing it back down to your county or state. Bringing it back down to your village or town or city. Bring it back down to your neighborhood. Bringing it back down to your house or flat or building. And finally, down to your room, your entire room. Imagine that being filled with that beautiful gold and white light that you submerged yourself in earlier. Feeling very, very relaxed. In meditation, your mind will always wander, but just take a moment, or 3 or 5 or 10 moments throughout the day, just to get grounded and think everything is okay. Everything is okay. Okay, last deep breath in through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let it out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Hope you're feeling good now. Hope you're feeling relaxed. Hope you're feeling content. So that's 3 tools that we work with. And again, we do this regularly because we want you to have the opportunity to practice. It's like a muscle and you need to work on it. The more you work on it, the better. If you just do it once a week with me, that's helpful. That's great. But if you do it every day, or if you do it multiple times a day, then you're working that muscle even more often, more frequently. And so you're going to build that muscle faster. And although I'm showing you my arm, it's not actually your arm we're working on. It's the muscles inside here. It's that neuroscience, and that's proven technology. Look up neuropathways, neuroplasticity, and we're able to change our mind, change our thinking, adapt to the way that we work by practicing. And that's how we move towards being our best version of ourselves. That's the evolution that I was talking about a little earlier. Hey, I want to say a big thank you to you. I really appreciate your time. If you would like to catch up with this, or maybe just join us at the very end, then feel free to go to the website, engagewithsuccess.com. All the links are under resources. That'll take you through to the podcast, which is simply an audio version of this. Or you could go through to the YouTube channel, which is the visible, or what's the best way to say that? The visual version of this. And then, of course, there's newsletters available for you as well. There's a blog. There's all sorts of things to help you become the best version of yourself. Ultimately, Engage with Success is about finding more joy, more happiness. And it's about being fulfilled, as well as enjoying the success in life that you want, and most importantly, that you deserve. Thank you for your company. I'll be back with you next Monday. This is Paul Becque signing off from Engage with Success, M7. My Mind Matters.